a couple more things with you, and it's regards to um, the whole thing again. Just kind of reiterating this thing with Swift. It's kind of like what you just basically saw, but um, give me just a second. Yeah. All right, here we go. So, just gonna share this thing again. There's an upgrade on StreamYard. I know you're thinking, well, what's he doing? Well, it's called getting used to the upgrade. All right. So of course we saw this one with CoinDesk, right? In regards to the whole thing with CBDCs and Swift and so on. And of course there's this one. It says this payments giant Swift preparing for a blockchain bound future. And it's just kind of reiterating what we just basically saw. But there's a few key things I wanted to point out. Um, so you know, it says Swift is a payments colossus, which it is. And again, just reiterating this, it operates across more than 200 countries, has 11,000 plus financial institution clients, transmits some 8.4 billion financial messages every year. Now, of course, that wasn't listed in the other article, but if anything, it's just that you have to realize how significant this whole thing with ISO 222 messaging. And of course, we talk about the whole thing about being compliant, but I think the messaging, people haven't really fathomed that 100%. They don't quite understand like just how valuable that is in itself. Not having to, again, be that bank manager who has to literally, get up and set his alarm clock because, he can't just go into the bank like normal and call up the other guy on the other side. I mean, yeah, they get a message, right? Just kind of the same concept. If you think about like with the fax machine message, I remember working in, a corporate American business, working in like a cubicle and so on, and working in customer service, and you get a fax, right? And it's in a different language, right? Like let's say it's like in Mandarin. It's like I don't know what the heck this means. So I have to get somebody to kind of decipher it, or I have to give a phone call back there. Hey, does anybody speak English at your office? Think about how much time and resources and other things I could have been doing. Well, that's just on such a minute scale compared to trillions of dollars, right? But if you can have a system that just goes through all that almost instantaneous, let's face it, it's not a blink of an eye, but literally 4 to heck, let's say it was the finalization was 30 seconds. Really? You're going to solve all of that in 30 seconds or under, and it's going to tell me everything I need to know, and I don't have to make any call to anybody? That is tremendous. And if you can't understand how the utility of what your the tech is behind that, and it's tied into crypto, then you need to. And I think this is where having the firm understanding of how your cryptos are tied into this and the value behind it, that's where it comes along. And that's why me personally, I'm passionate about all this, and rightfully so. I'm going to continue to talk about this. Yeah, I get burned out just like anybody when it comes to a lot of things. It is a grind, but you know what? There become a time like Jeff Prudence, he wants to buy an island. I think that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like whether he's serious about that or not. If he is serious about it, that is awesome. For me personally, we all have our own goals. I mean, for me personally, it's not just making like a few $1,000,000. Like literally, like I wouldn't mind, getting approaching like $1 billion or something like that. And I'm not going to get there by just investing just a little bit here and a little bit there. Like I'm literally, you guys heard me months ago about the whole thing of like 40 different ones in my portfolio. Like I'm approaching now 50. And the way I look at it is basically jumping the gun on a lot of this stuff, jumping the gun as far as researching a lot of it, and understanding just exactly, where it's not just limited to, cross-border payments. That's the big player of it all. Also understanding like some of the ecosystems behind this, understanding how they're in Web3, understanding the APIs that are involved in it, like Quant, for instance. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. The thing I want to point out is this right here. And that is, for instance, it says Belgium. It says that doesn't mean Belgium-based cooperative is immune to disruption tremors. says critics have long maintained the interbank messaging system. Remember, we were talking about the whole thing from point A to point B. Founded in the 1970s, again, we're talking about, like, for instance, Swift, is old, flexible, slow, increasingly prone to cyber attacks. Again, I think there's too much emphasis on two key takeaways when people mention Swift when it comes to crypto for some reason. And that is Swift is going away. It's being replaced. It's not being replaced. All right. It's literally being upgraded. Okay. And the other thing is too much focus on just, oh, XRP is a lot faster. Okay. We also need to talk about how it's a heck of a lot more secure. So, like it mentions right here, um, the old system, right? Swift basically made in the 1970s, old, inflexible, slow, increasingly prone to cyber attacks. And it's just that, if you are an elite cyber attacking hacker group, and you get the idea that, what, I heard on the news that, let's face it, like the Ukraine or something like that, they're going to be borrowing, I don't know, $5 trillion from Germany or and whatnot. Wouldn't you want to try to, if that's your thing? I mean, I'm not approving of it or anything, but wouldn't you want to try to take your resources and get like even a smidge of that on a hack? Yeah, of course. Good luck trying to hack these type of huge transactions within 2 or 3 seconds or whatever, at most of 30 seconds. It's going to make it so much harder for the hackers and so on, and rightfully so. So it's not just about time equals money. It's also about the security behind it all. And anyway, I want to get back to a little bit more of this. It says last week, in a sign that even entrenched legacy financial networks can possibly change their stripes, Swift confirmed a proof of concept project with blockchain Oracle provider Chainlink. If all goes well, Swift's bank users could easily access, transfer digital assets on multiple blockchain platforms. Again, it kind of reminds you of the whole concept of what Quant is trying to do. So again, it said days earlier, Swift also announced it was using fintech firm Symbiont's enterprise blockchain platforms to improve its messaging for corporate events like dividend payments and mergers. These developments raise an intriguing question. Rather than engaging in a zero-sum struggle to the death, are traditional finance, right, TradeFi, and decentralized finance, which is DeFi, firms actually converging, for example, moving toward a common middle ground that includes tokenized assets, DeFi interoperability, and yes, regulation. Now, of course, I know a lot of us think, oh, God, regulation. But when it comes to something with trillions of dollars being flowed between countries, of course, there has to be a little bit of regulation. All right. Now, I'm going to get into all this stuff about all these other threats and so on because it's a lot about what we just talked. But I just wanted to bring that up to you guys as well. The next piece basically is this right here, but we already saw that. I wanted you guys to just take a moment, which is like, I don't know, it's like 6 minutes and 4 seconds basically. And of course, that's what we covered earlier. But last I wanted to show you was this just right here in regards to Casper. Somebody mentioned earlier. It's nothing like a huge pump or anything like that, but I did see it was up about 6.5% in regards to Casper, and it is considered ISO 222 compliant. And so I think it's pretty decent for them. I mean, I've had, of course, Casper added to my watch list a while back because you guys were constantly talking about it. Just haven't researched it enough compared to like some of what you guys have done. We're going to take, of course, a brief moment. We're starting to wrap things up. But I want to just kind of refresh to see what's going on with the market. We'll get more into, of course, Cardano. We're kind of leaving it on the back burner, if you will, because it's kind of hit or miss with them. But they have been trending. We'll get into why they've been trending. That's going to be on another part of this series. But I want to look at the 1 hour and the top 100 real quick and look at that. Terra Luna Classic is up about 1.18%. It doesn't seem too significant, but maybe, like I mentioned, for some reason, when we get into Thursday, for some reason, going into Friday, it's not too bad when it comes to Luna Classic. So I'm going to click on this for just a brief moment. And of course,